There should be audio. This is say something now. No, for some reason, can they hear you? Because they can hear me. You should have been always been able to be here because your levels are moving. What you said it just showed up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why has it got to be that? Really? Oh, okay, okay. No, that's not true. My mouse just die. Sure. I don't know what you're talking about. But you just told me. Well, I'm trying to see. That's what I was saying. Can they actually hear you? You up here talking, and I'm like, can they actually hear you? Because I didn't. I'm trying to figure out why they can't hear you when I'm looking at audio levels moving on my screen. It's not muted, sir. It's not muted. If that's what you were about to imply. This is what happened when I let slow mo convince me to do other things.
What are you talking about? What did I convince you to do?
Can they hear?
Host?
Can they hear you now? Can y'all hear him now? Now that I literally reset my audio device driver on my
Oh
PC.
my gosh, this guy is always something.
It happens.
Audio driver, you got kidnapped by aliens, and all they did was sabotage your audio.
I never
You,
got
you
kidnapped by aliens. I've never done any sorts of things. So you're
well, of
being,
course, you never got kidnapped by aliens, but it's always an
is it
excuse. There's
just,
always something.
is it the acronym that you just wanted to use today?
That is not actually
Or
an acronym at
is that a
all. Why? Why?
statement? I mean,
why?
yeah, it's definitely not an acronym. Is it just I don't know what it is, dude? Listen, I have been suffering from like light oxygen to my brain for the last 2 months, so leave me alone.
So funny how this has been going on longer than 2 months, but sure, yeah, we can roll with that excuse this time.
Well, it probably has because I probably needed to upgrade that thing years ago because that thing was like 7 years old at this point. It could have had a lot to do with it. You never know. Got a
Well,
lot of sleep though. Well, slow
let,
mo. Okay, once
let's
again,
start this
what slow?
again for the
No,
for the
no.
fifth time.
Do we really have to start it again? Okay, episode
Yeah,
one.
because this is like the people couldn't hear us. Yeah, you got to start
Well,
it
we're just
again.
gonna say episode 191, Damage per Second podcast. Welcome to another episode of it. I'm your host, Game Forte, followed by my other host, the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that gets on my nerves every once in a while and convinces me to do the most dumbest things in the world. Slow mo backslap. How are you doing? What's been going on? How you been? And I missed you.
You miss blaming me for your own mistakes.
I didn't
Is that
blame
what
you.
you
I
meant?
just said I
You just
missed
said
you.
I could convince you to do the dumbest things. I don't even know what you think
Yeah,
I
but that
convinced you
didn't
to
blame
do.
you for anything though. I just
Yes,
said convinced. And I didn't add what you convinced me of. So you can't say I
because
blamed
there's
you for
nothing
anything.
that I convinced you of.
Well, you see, you're making
You're
it
just
more than
making
it
stuff up.
is.
You're just making stuff
I
up.
didn't say
This,
that I
this is
blamed you for anything though.
this is
The
this
word
is another
I
this is
just said
another forteism.
convince.
This is
I just
another
said convince.
forteism.
It
This
is.
is where you just
I'm
start throwing stuff at the wall
yes, I'm glad
to
that
see
you
what sticks.
realized that. But once
Nothing is
again,
sticking,
I
and
just
here we
asked
are.
you what you were doing for what you done for the week, and you are still talking
Uh,
instead of talking about what you done for the week.
So you don't want me to talk, or you want me to talk?
about what you've done for the week and what you've been up with, what you've been doing. That's what I want you to talk about.
Okay, yeah. So look. Been playing games. I've been playing games, and
Just
I've
like
been
you are right
watching.
now, playing games. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, not this kind of game. I've been playing video games. You know, like it's
Oh, that's
something
good.
that a
Video
lot
games are
of
awesome.
the console warriors don't know anything about.
They don't know
But yeah,
about
no,
video
I've been
games.
playing games. I tried out Banishers, Ghost of New Eden, by Don't Nod. Came out. I think that came out like earlier this year, like February, January, February. I bought it back then, but I never. Actually, no, I didn't buy it back then. I bought it when it was on sale recently, and I did a stream on this channel, Lunchtime with
Mm-hmm.
Slow Mo, a couple of days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was crashing like crazy. That's a couple of days ago. It was yesterday. It was crashing like crazy. Like it
Oh
crashed
God.
5 times
Mm-hmm.
in like maybe like 30 minutes. I couldn't even get through the prologue. And I did some. I tried it again today. Did some investigating on it. Troubleshooting some things, and turns out it wasn't the game because the like one of the issues I had, it was maxing out my VRAM. I have 16 gigs of VRAM with the 4080 Super, which nothing has maxed out my VRAM at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing that I've played. I'm like, this game, it looks cool for a double A game, but it's a double A game. Like there's just no reason why this game should at all at any point be close to maxing out my VRAM by the way it looks.
Right.
And with the crashes and everything, come to find out, really, I didn't even notice it, but my PC had downloaded and installed some Windows updates, and I
Oh,
needed to do a reboot. And I
you
was
got
just
screwed by
like,
Windows.
yeah, and I'm just like, first of all, I don't even have it set up to install without my permission. Like I'm the one that has to do the manual installs. So I don't know how that got messed up, but that was what the issue was. Rebooted the PC. VRAM usage is at 8 gigs the way it was supposed to be. Playing at 4K, 120 frames per second.
Dang.
Looks good, plays good. It's a good story. For once with Don't Nod. Don't Nod's very story centric. Very narrative driven.
Mm-hmm.
They and if you don't know who they are, they're the ones that created Life is Strange.
Yes, there.
So and then I think they did a game before that no one really remembers called Remember Me. And that one,
Because they don't remember itself. I remember that
eh,
game though.
yeah, the game's not that good. And they
No, it
also did
wasn't.
that vampire game. So look, they do a lot of games. Like people only really know them for Life is Strange, which is kind of like, I mean, the format, the game design of the game is very much Telltale.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so people think that's all they do because that's all that Telltale does. Most developers that make those kind of games, those are the only games they make, like Supermassive, Quantic Dream. They only kind of make those kind of games. But no, don't not make a lot of different kind of titles. And this one's different. Like, I would say the combat's not amazing, but it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like the combat in this better than I like the combat in, say, Flintlock, for example.
Oh, okay.
So it's all right. It's all right. But I think what's really got me kind of hooked on it is the story. The story is very good, and I'm digging it. So I'm gonna keep playing it. So I was playing that. I've been playing, still playing a lot of my live service games, and still playing Elden Ring. I'm actually playing through Elden Ring on PC.
Oh
Getting,
shit.
I think I'm gonna start. I'm gonna do this a little different. Something I didn't do with on PlayStation because I had, well, all four of my characters. I had beaten the game already. I'm going to play the DLC Shadow of the Earth Tree before beating the game. So I kind of
Okay.
want to kind of see how that goes. Where I have a character that isn't like running into the DLC with a complete build all set up and high levels and everything. Like I think my lowest level character on PlayStation when I started the DLC was like 180 something.
Yeah.
And my character on PC is like 100 2 or something. So like yeah, I'm a beat Moog and jump in that DLC. I really just want to get my hand on the backhand blades. I freaking love the backhand blades. It's like one of the best weapons of the game. So and you can get that like as soon as you start the DLC, you can just jump on the horse and just ride to a particular location and just pick the blades up. Like one of the best weapons in the game is just lying around in like the earlier parts of the DLC. So yeah, there's that. And I think that's about it. But Call of Duty, in the First Descendant. I think I said last week I beat the First Descendant. Now I'm just uh grinding items that I need to build more descendants and min-maxing the ones I have. I built Vessia, I built Sharon, and
Sure.
I got I have J Bear. Uh
These names are crazy.
yeah, they are. J Bear is like he is gotta be tied with Freya as one of my favorite descendants, just because I love to throw the turrets and stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. What about you?
Uh, well, playing Call of Duty with you. I really
True.
play Call of Duty. I think honestly, game wise, the only thing I played a couple of games of NCAA yesterday for the first time this week. And then I think the only games I played this week was Call of Duty, honestly, with you guys, because like let's see.
You're
Sun
addicted.
huh?
I say you're addicted.
I am addicted. Yeah, because Sunday I did IOP, and it was before I got my CPAP and stuff. So after IOP, I literally went to sleep because it's like getting sleep was like a virtue back like literally a couple days ago. Then Monday I worked all day. Tuesday I was off, but that was the day I went and picked up my CPAP so I can actually start having healthy sleep again. And then man, let me tell you, normally I would wake up at like I want to say when you have sleep apnea, you like wake up throughout the night and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I would usually wake up 3 or 4 times at night. So and that's not even counting how many times you like have micro stutters and you wake up when you don't even really wake up. It's just your brain waking you up, telling you to breathe, mofo, breathe. Wake your butt up. So so sometimes I would just be waking, like most of the times I just wake up, it's like 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. Um, but that's like, having a whole bunch of events over the course of the night. When I did my sleep study, they told me I was having like between anywhere from 3 to 4 events a night. And I'm like, dude, that's like your body waking up every 10 to 15 minutes on average, and that's what's happening to me for like a good 2 months. So I'm happy to have this
That's
back.
not
So,
good.
it's terrible. That's why I was like so much out of energy and stuff. So by the time I get to the end of the day, it's like, dog, I'm like spent. So Tuesday, I got it and I literally came home and I hooked it up and I took a nap. And I swear to God, that 2.5 hours that I slept was the best 2.5 hours I had in like 2 months. And then so ended up staying up. I was watching some stuff on Netflix, and then I officially went to sleep on Tuesday night. And then when I didn't wake up, no lie, I went to sleep at about 1 a.m. because we played Call of Duty that night. After we got through playing Call of Duty, I went to sleep. I didn't wake up till 1:45 in the afternoon, bro. Literally, like it was like the world. Like when I woke up, I had so much energy. I was running around doing a whole bunch of stuff. I had to take my dog. I had to take my dog to the vet for the first time so he can get updated with his shots and his nails clipped. And I took my daughter here and we had to go there. It was like I was running around doing so much stuff. And by the time I looked up, it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, still had a whole heck of a lot of energy. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. So I did the same thing the next day, which was this morning. And I woke up early with my wife, and then I was still a little tired, so I went and laid back down. Oh, actually, I woke up and I came down on my PC for like a half an hour to like see what topics and stuff I wanted to do for the show today. I did that, and then I went back to sleep. And guess what? I didn't wake up till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is great. Good thing I don't work today." So, man, it's been great getting that back together. As I always tell man, people always try to say health is wealth. Man, just little things like being able to sleep on a consistent basis and not have to worry about just waking up randomly at night or anything is a godsend. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I was doing for the last 2 months when that thing went out on me. Thank the Lord, insurance is a thing. But I mean, because it was rough, bro. It went my original one went out. So I got diagnosed with it back in what 2009. And so I've always had it. And you're supposed to like go in and get it checked out like every 5 years, but I've never had an issue with it. So, stupid didn't go in and get it checked out. We had a thunderstorm, a real bad thunderstorm, probably like 2 months. It was about 2 months ago. And that mug, the lights went out and it went out. And let me tell you, I went to go turn that thing on to go to bed and it wouldn't turn on. That was the most miserable night of my life because I already knew it was going to be like, because first you're up here saying, oh my God, I got sleep apnea. I'm not going to be able to sleep. And then on top of it, since you're so used to using it, you don't even know what it feels like to lay down without having it on. So it just feels super uncomfortable. So the first 2 nights was just dumb. So that's kind of how it was. So just to put a long story short, feeling a lot better. Energy's all there. Definitely gonna help with this podcast because I don't know if anybody noticed it. Like to the last month, it's like, man, my energy level has been like completely in the garbage. That's why I've been so happy that we had other people on the podcast to help move the show along forward. But we're good now. But outside of that, man, I haven't really been doing too much else. Just playing around with the kids and just having a good old time, man. But with that, you want to get into that first topic?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
So, did you hear about Ubisoft flying people out to Disney World to try out Star Wars Outlaws?
No. Okay, so look, I knew that there were people who played Star Wars Outlaws because we actually know some of those people, and they told us their opinions on it, and that's fine and all, but I just thought that was it, kind of like. They did a Redfall Arcane where they just like, hey, come join us over here, and we'll.
Yes, there were some people. Shout out to Attic and them because the Iron Lords did get a chance to do the 4-hour trial where they got a chance to remote in and play it and got a chance to see what the game was like. They also got their gameplay sent to them. That's why you saw the video. That was their gameplay footage. But there were people, lucky content creators, that were flown to Disney World to have the whole Disney experience around Star Wars. So, Slow-Mo, I have my opinion about this. What do you think of now? We know promotion is a thing, and we know content creators is how they used to do it. What do you think about Disney, or not Disney, Ubisoft and Disney teaming together to fly people out, not only to try the game out, but to go to like Star Wars Canyon and get lightsabers made and everything, just to promote the game? What do you think about those type of marketing tactics that these companies and publishers do when it comes to content creators?
Well, they can't pay people straight up, because that's illegal. So what they do is they kind of shower you with gifts, trips, things. It's a tactic we see in politics, where there are politicians that it's illegal to take a bribe. But I do have a nonprofit organization that never seems to get audited, and so send your donation to that, and I'll make sure the money gets where it's supposed to go. And that's kind of like how that stuff works. I think in all ways we see that pop up in other avenues. And I'm not saying the people who accept those things are compromised, because we've seen people who have taken these kind of things and then they still be like, yeah, your game sucks, or I didn't like it. It was a problem with it. This happens all the time. And then the publisher doesn't take kindly to that, and they blackball the person. We've seen that happen too. But I think when it comes to those kind of things, is that, like, I know there are people who just immediately they hear about stuff like this and they go, "Oh, well, you're a shill now. You're a corporate shill. You're compromised. I can't trust anything you have to say." But it's always funny how they say that. It's always based about, like, if you say anything positive about the game, which is silly, because it's like, what if they genuinely liked what they played?
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Oh, well, you're definitely compromised," when you don't know for certain. You haven't played the game yourself. And I think we saw some of that going on out here, where people were like, literally calling people corporate shills for this. And when it comes to Star Wars Outlaws, people who seem to have a bone to pick with the game, for whatever reason, and it's just, it is what it is. If you accept these kind of gifts from publishers, developers, whoever, you're just going to need to also understand that that's going to come with the territory, that people are going to take what the information of what you were received and take it as, "Oh, you're definitely compromised now." So it's what it is, man.
Yeah, yeah. And same thing. I feel about the same way. I don't blame publishers, because it's not really developers. I don't blame publishers for doing stuff like this, because, like you said, this is in their right. This is one of the tactics they use.
It's a
Ubisoft.
loophole.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
loophole.
loophole.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, in this situation, Ubisoft is making the Star Wars game, and then they're going to Disney to say, "Hey, how can we make this experience better to kind of coerce,
Yeah.
or at
Yeah.
least make these content creators
It's
feel."
probably free. It's
Well,
probably free for them.
it's free for
Disney
Disney.
wants this. It's Disney. They own the place.
Yeah.
And they definitely want, the very best reviews they can get for their game. Yeah, so it's a mutually beneficial bribery. I'm joking. That's
Right.
not bribery, but it's mutually beneficial for both, and it makes sense. But it's just
Yeah.
when you, I don't take every time someone gets a something like a review code or whatever and take it as, "Oh, well, you're compromised." I don't like agree with that. But there are people out there who do think that's a problem, and it
Yeah.
is what it is, man.
No, and I agree with that. So, with that being said, we definitely understand that this is part of what the industry does. And I think we're both in agreement that content creators at for the most part is really on content creators. Can't blame the publisher on doing it, but we can hold the content creators, kind of at arms for the fact that if they, don't disclose it. Like, the only thing I would kind of say is kind of crazy about it is,
Well, I agree with that. Yeah, that all that information needs to be disclosed. Like,
it
as
needs to
soon
be
as you
exactly.
do, like, as soon as whatever, like, video or whatever you're making, it needs to be disclosed immediately,
Mhm.
that of what transpired. Hey, I was flown out. I was given a gift. They took us to Disney World, man. I got back massages from women whose names I don't even remember.
Right.
Whatever happened. You should be disclosing
That's the
that.
thing that I always tell me is, like, you start the video. If you're gonna talk about Star Wars, you just start the video, be like, "Yo, Star Wars Outlaws, I got a chance to play 4 hours of it." But you know what? I got to give a shout out and a huge thank you to Ubisoft and Disney for flying me out to Disney Worlds, where I got a chance to put a lightsaber together. I got a chance to get the whole Star Wars experience on top of trying out the game. So, just to let you guys know, your boy did get a lot of pub from all of this stuff, but that doesn't mean that this is going to change how I feel and what I'm going to tell you about the game. But I got to disclose, your boy did get hooked up by trying
Yeah.
out the game, and I want to thank you guys for getting me out there to do this. And if you do something like that, we're good.
Yeah, and you also can't get mad at people for looking at you sideways for it, because it's like, if you just think about how that sounds. You know, Disney flew me out. Disney and Ubisoft flew me out, wine and dined me, free trip to Disney World. Me, all my buddies went. We had a great time. By the way, this Star Wars game is fantastic. It's awesome. One of the best Star Wars games I ever played. Like, bro, like, it's not as bad as you trying to hide it,
right?
but it still don't look that good.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I mean?
It just don't look good, but that's kind of where it is. It's like, some people, you can't get mad at people for being upset that you're doing it, but you also can't be mad at the person for doing it, because they're perfect. I always say, once you get to a certain echelon, I was talking to the addict
hold
about
on now,
this.
hold on now.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Brian Easton in the chat. He said, except that Star Wars Theory guy spoke about his encounter. They asked him to sign an NDA in order to not say disparaging things. Now
I know about that, because Star Wars Theory, I know he ain't signed that, because he is 100%. He's gonna be completely honest about everything in that game, and I did watch his video about that whole situation.
Okay, so that completely changes some things as far as I'm concerned. If this is the kind of stuff you're doing, well, it's one thing to bring people out and in a effort to kind of influence them. It's another thing to try to make them sign an NDA that's it's a little too far.
I wonder if that was consistent across all people, because Star Wars Theory is huge. We're talking about almost 4 million subscribers. That might have been. I mean, granted,
I
would
hope
think
he
that's
would be huge. His name is Star Wars Theory.
Man,
and this man is out here doing theories about trash content. So
he's doing great theories. Those Star Wars theories are awesome, bro.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he puts great work in. I'm talking about trash content as in Star Wars sucks.
Yeah, he actually made a Vader. He made a fan film of Vader, and that thing is amazing.
Oh yeah, I saw that. He's that guy.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he made that out of his own pocket, and they said he couldn't profit from him. And he couldn't even crowdfund for it. So I think he said it cost him like $1.5 million to make that out of his own pocket.
This man just had that lying around.
Nah, man. Well, no, he told people like he couldn't. So this is the thing: he couldn't crowdfund for it, but all he can do is tell people if they wanted to support the channel, super chats, this and that, blah, blah, blah. He couldn't use his Patreon to do it. It had to be through AdSense. It had to be through memberships on the channel, but it couldn't be for that particular thing. So I think he said he took his channel's earnings and all of the things, all the stuff that he did over the course of 3 years to fund that film. Because it took a while to do
money. Man was making money on the channel.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, if you look at some of those videos on there, it's pretty ridiculous. That's a really cool dude, man. When he finally, this is the thing though, his content even blew up more once he went on camera. Because at first, for the first 2 years, he was non-camera, and then he went camera, and then it was over.
Well, good for him. But back to the point. Freaking Disney trying to get him to sign an NDA so he doesn't say anything disparaging. I got a lot of problems with that, because I think there's a difference between we're treating you well, so hopefully you just feel compelled to be nice to us in your review of the game.
Right. Right.
That's a little less sinister than, hey, theory guy, come here. let's have a talk. You know, did you like Disneyland? Did you like all that? You love the rides? That's great. Hey, how about you sign this and you say this game is everything that you've ever wanted in the matter of fact, look, read this right here. This is our words we want you to put in your review. You mind? You don't mind, do you? Like what the
Yeah.
what are we talking about here?
What are we talking about
like
here?
that's a whole different level, you know, in this you know what it really brings up to me is
What is
when
that?
what was it? Damn, what was it? Skill Up,
Yeah.
and Bungie. So
Oh
when
yeah.
Skill Up used to be a Division content creator, when a lot of people don't know that, and then like when he left the Division content creation, you know, scene and started just taking his channel to a different direction, I think one of the first things he really started to focus on was like Destiny,
Yep.
and it was interesting because like Bungie and Activision really went all out with him. You know, his channel was growing. It's nowhere near as it's probably about half the size than it is now.
Yeah.
And they gave him like Destiny themed they gave him a case that had like Destiny, like kind of themed stuff. A freaking mouse pad for his, that was Destiny thing. They gave him all this Destiny merch. And he went and did his review.
No, he let him have it.
Destiny 2's review with Skill Up is not what they were hoping for. Like not even a little bit. They were appalled at his response to them. And good on him. Because it's like why are you trying to get me to say all this great stuff about the game when it's not really what I feel about the game? And he was harsh, but he was fair.
He was definitely fair.
But Activision at the end of the day, they blackballed him after that for a while, and that happens. Publishers will blackball you when you don't say things that they want you to say. I've had opportunities to do reviews a few times, and got review codes for games. I'm not going to say the name of the game, but I'm not going to say the name of the publisher either. But it was a publisher, and I got the NDA, and I read through it, and I wasn't really cool with some of the restrictions that they had there. Like it was like, and I understand not like wanting people to spoil the story, but when you're like, don't make any mention of how you feel about certain aspects of the game. I'm like, well, I mean, what if it sucks? Or what if it's awesome? Like to say I can't even bring up how I feel about certain aspects. Like I that's very. It's like you're trying to manipulate the audience, and we've seen this happen even with games that I think that have started out not so great but turned out to be really great, like Cyberpunk. The restrictions that CDPR put on reviewers for Cyberpunk were ridiculous. Can't use your own footage. You gotta use B-roll footage that they provided in your video review. Don't talk about bugs. Don't talk about, I always saw how ACG took a stand, and he was like, well, all right, you going to tell me I can't do all this stuff? I'm going to make a video. I'm not going to sign your NDA, but I'm going to make a video telling everybody why I'm not reviewing the game, and I'm going to tell them why. And it's like when reviewers have enough clout to kind of do that, it really backfires on the publisher. And I hope that happens more, because I don't like when publishers, and shout out to the Star Wars Theory guy for coming out and speaking on it, like when he did, because a lot of times this kind of information does not reach the public. But that stuff needs to be exposed when it happens, because like you should not be like there's a line. and trying to get people to sign NDAs where they can't say anything negative about your game or any form of of art or media, whether it be a music album, a movie, TV show, video games, whatever. Yeah, you should be called out for that. And to me, it kind of shows a insecurity. Well, not really insecurity, because this is a company, but maybe you don't feel as strongly about the game as you would like people to feel, and I find that a little off-putting, a little weird, because the feedback that I saw from people who actually played it was they said it was good.
Mm-hmm.
They thought it was a good game, and this wasn't like a public conversation. This is what they said privately behind the scenes. So it's just like they enjoyed the game, but what was the point of doing those kind of things? It's just very strange.
Yeah, you're right. I agree, 100%. Well, thank you for bringing that to attention, because I did forget that he actually did do a video talking about why he declined, and that that's a big audience to talk to and tell people that you're doing that, and that might be the reason why you didn't see a lot of people talk about, because there was an article that came out talking about people being blown out from that. It wasn't because somebody
Flew
uh
out.
yeah, exactly. So it might have been the fact they couldn't even tell people they went there, which is even more dirty if that's the case. But
Right, because they don't want people to know that it's like when you
the extent that they went through to get people to, try to coerce them into liking the game.
right, because anytime like and so what game was it again? Okay, Concord, for example, right? So
Mhm.
I remember people were talking about how Concord didn't look that good or whatever. And I remember someone saying they should have had like big content creators go play it. And it's like they didn't, like, and I think someone mentioned Kai Cenat, who is the biggest content creator on the planet right now. And I'm like, well, you can't get Kai to do everything, you know? But I remember they got RDC World to do it. And those guys are big. They got like, million, a couple million, subs on their channel and everything. They're big time. But I thought it was funny because when you look at that stream, their community wasn't really buying it. They kind of felt like they thought that the guys weren't really enjoying it, but they were trying to pretend like they were enjoying it, so just so that, like, because it's an ad, it's advertisement. Blade says that was me slow mo. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. But RDC World, if you look at that stream, you would say, if you didn't know them, you would say that they were enjoying it. But just their community seemed to know better. The people that see them all the time. And I enjoyed Concord, and no one told me to enjoy it, but like clearly they weren't feeling it. And it was interesting because, like, when you see it say this is an ad, or this is we were contracted to play this game by Sony, it takes on a completely different, feeling than, hey, yeah, I'm just playing this game. Oh, I really like this game. Because people then, in the first aspect, actually think that, oh, well, he likes it. Well, then there are people who do like this game. Maybe I should give it a shot. But then when people see that, oh, well, you were paid to play this game, everything that you do going forward in regards to the game gets put, on blast. It's looked at with the side eye. And I watched some of their content, and I thought they were doing all right in playing the game, but a lot of other people felt otherwise. And whether whether their gameplay was genuine or not, or their enjoyment of the game was genuine or not, you're always going to get people that are going to be like, nah, man, Y'all faking that. Y'all just doing that because y'all getting paid. Hey, more power to you, but I ain't playing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's almost like a waste of money at that point because you're spending money to get them to play the game. Whether they're giving you their honest opinion on how they felt about the game or not, it's going to end result is people don't believe it. But yeah.
No, yeah, I get that. All right, killed that subject. Let's talk about Amazon shutting down Ready at Dawn. No more Order 1886. Which I think, what do you think? You think that would be the game that they're known the most for at this point now?
Yeah, I would say so. The Lone Echo games were the series that they had made for Meta, when they were just doing VR. And although everyone that I know does play, I've played the first one and it was all right, but I'm just not I don't really like VR like that. But those games seemed okay. Everyone that I know that's played through them thought they were really good. The problem is just that like nobody was really playing it because it's VR. And the Order 1886 definitely I think would probably have to be like their most popular game. And unfortunately, we probably will never see that game again. I'm not going to say definitely won't see it again. I think it's a chance that we won't see it again. And I say that because I'll use Until Dawn as an example. Until Dawn was made by Supermassive Games.
Oh,
Until Dawn.
Before you say that, my fault. Not Amazon, Meta. I keep forgetting it's Meta.
Oh yeah, I was saying it Meta anyway, so I didn't even catch.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think. I said I don't want Amazon to get more disparity thoughts than they actually get already. It's Meta who shut them down. But go ahead, Slow-Mo.
Yeah. So with Until Dawn came out, and that was made by Supermassive Games, and Supermassive. They were a second party developer for Sony PlayStation. That partnership ended. When it ended, a lot of people probably thought, well, we'll probably never get an Until Dawn 2 or even just an update to Until Dawn. But here we are, and at some point this year, there will be an Until Dawn remake coming out on PC and PlayStation 5. And we will there's the potential of a sequel. They got a movie coming and everything. And with the way that Sony is moving now, where they're and they should do this, right? Because I think both Microsoft does this. They leverage what they're good at when they take their video game properties and they move them to different forms of media to try to engender more popularity. We've seen that, even though this was kind of put into play before the acquisition of Bethesda, but we saw that with Fallout. The Fallout TV show pushed the popularity of the Fallout games even further. Sales were like through the roof. Cyberpunk Edge Runners with the Cyberpunk game, The Last of Us with the Last of Us game. Just you can go down the list of like really good, if it's good media outside of the video game aspect. When you get into the like it just pushes the popularity of the actual video game even further. If you played the Order 1886, that game story is really good. Visuals look great today. It looked better than most games right now in 2024, and this came out in 2014.
I agree.
It has all the like, if there's any IP that they could say, hey, can we make this and put this, say, like a movie, or put it on Netflix or Amazon Prime Video, whatever they want to call it. If we could do that, would it kind of change what, allow us to kind of push forward more with what we're doing with the video game aspect and kind of revitalize this IP instead of just have it lie dormant, collecting dust in our catalog. Absolutely. Like this would be that's definitely, I would say that would have been a bigger bet than going with Until Dawn. But it's all about convincing the bean counters, the executives to give it a shot. But as we see now, I think that the name of this developer is Ballistic Moon. Ballistic Moon is the one doing the remake for Until Dawn. Turns out Ballistic Moon is a development studio full of former Supermassive developers. So these are people who worked on Until Dawn. So now that Ready at Dawn has been shut down, if I'm Sony, this is a perfect opportunity. We kind of like let it slip and we let Meta acquire them, instead of giving them the sequel they should have deserved. Because frankly, like I think the game was, I think the Order 1886 was reviewed a little too harshly. I don't think the Metacritic score it has is really representative of the kind of game it is.
Right.
And Sony has allowed first games in a series that weren't that great to get sequels before. Frankly, I think that's Uncharted. Uncharted 1 ain't that great of a game. But they let Naughty Dog do a sequel for it. And where did that get them? I mean, we saw what happened with Uncharted 2. Best game in the series, one of the best games that has been on PlayStation. You got to give them second chances. So I think it'll be smart for Sony to take, talk to some of these people who just got let go, who are looking for a job right now. Throw a lifeline out there, talk to them, talk to their buddies, get some of them together, do a remaster, or do a remake of the original game and shore up some of the issues that people had with the combat. People kind of felt like the combat was not was kind of bland. Just basic cover shooting. It could have been better. I agree. Shore some of those things up. Make it even better, and then see what happens. But we'll see. What are your thoughts on it?
It sucks, man. Like I said, for the most part, I feel like the studio fell victim. I mean, I won't say it fell victim to, because they got bought out by Meta, which is fine. But then we really didn't get a chance to see them move forward with the types of games that they were making before Meta, because, with Meta, they basically became a VR studio. And they made some really good VR games, some really highly touted VR games that are that sell really well in the Meta ecosystem. But talking about the games,
I would say they didn't sell that well. That's the reason why they got shut down.
No. I'm not saying
part of the problem.
well, I'm not saying selling well. I mean, they were very critically acclaimed. They just didn't sell. I mean, when it comes to VR. I would say,
does anything really sell on VR except for
exactly, and that's the thing.
Beat Saber and like you know what sells.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you can be critically acclaimed on VR and not sell, and still get closed down. We talked about how with Steam, how they have the Valve index over there that they still push, but maybe less than 1 million people own that thing on the Steam platform. It's $1,000 headset. People, but they have a lot of Steam games they can play. They got Half-Life Alyx, and that might be the most played or owned, I would say owned game probably outside of Beat Saber. That's on the Steam platform for people. So it's like, it just sucks to see that they got converted to a VR studio taken away from the type of games that they were making before. And granted, I'm not saying it was wrong because because they made the decision when they got purchased to go in that direction. They signed a contract saying they would do it, so that's what they ended up doing. But
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were looking forward to maybe another run at something like Order 1886, and we kind of knew once they got bought by Meta that was going to kind of be a long shot due to the fact that Sony owns the IP. They're probably not going to get Ready at Dawn to be able to make the sequel to it because contractual obligations to another studio, and that's why you see other studios out making stuff like Until Dawn and stuff like that. So I just think it's like a missed opportunity. And like you said, maybe the best thing that could come from this is the fact that Sony can kind of pick up the pieces when it comes to a lot of these people that have left the studio because of the closure. But it also comes back to like, Sony talked about in their financials, even though they did really good in revenue and sales and stuff, they still had opportunities in other sectors of their business and stuff like that we'll talk about later. But so we really don't know what the financial situation or what Sony looks at when they talk about, adding to their coffers when it comes to developers, even though we know developers are kind of the lifeblood of what games are. If you don't have good ones, you won't have good games. So yeah, it sucks to see that this happened. And I hope everybody that was affected, well, the whole studio was affected. Well, everybody that was at the studio that's affected, wish that they fall on their feet and land somewhere that they want to land, or maybe take the much needed time away from development and find something else, because we already know that a lot of people that are in video game development now will not be in video game development as their next job, because we have heard stories of people saying, I'd rather do something else to keep doing this.
And that is that's the churn
unfortunate.
of the video game industry, unfortunately. It's
Hmm.
and you really can't fault people for it. You may have a passion to make video games, and I know there are a lot of people who are regular gamers who would love to have the opportunity. But also that is kind of like the negative side of the whole thing, is that there are people who like the video game industry takes advantage of those people and their passion, and they kind of weaponize that against them in ways that are not right. Like, oh, you should give up your life, your family time, like your marriage. All that stuff should be secondary to making a freaking video game.
Hmm.
Just think about that for a second. Making a video game is more important than your health. That's stupid. That's dumb. It's just it's beyond stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But this is the kind of mentality that they the kind of cultures that they create, where they kind of get like convince people that these things are more important than making sure that your kids know who you are as they're growing up. These things are more important than making sure that your wife is good and that the person that you love is feels loved by you and wants to stay married to you. Like, what the
Mm.
you really think about it and you really break it down, what kind of piece of garbage human beings are these that actually like create these kind of cultures in their studios? Like, you're a garbage human being to do that.
Hmm.
So and this is why like a lot of people that we know may have the skill sets to do to work in these industries, and they choose not to, and good on them, because what are you choosing to do? What are you choosing to get into? It's bullshit. Pardon my French. It's not.
No, no, you're
Yeah,
good.
don't put yourself in those kind of situations, I say.
Yeah, and that's what people are doing. The thing is, the passion and the love has to outweigh all the BS. And at a certain point, your job. I mean, and granted, every job is like this, but when it comes to, and the funny
True.
thing, in gaming didn't used to be like this, but every job is like this. Once a job, when you're in a job that has deadlines and stuff that you need to accomplish or you need to hit, the reason you had to hit those deadlines is mostly due to the fact that, hey, we trying to get in and out of this project as fast as possible. When you work for, even if you work for a construction company, you know, when you're building a building, once that building is built, unless you one of those few people that they want to keep consistently on staff, no matter what, a lot of other people are just contracted. And then those people are, you know, let go, laid off until the next thing comes up that's big enough for them to like bring them back. And, you know, normally they have a fast track of getting back into that situation. You know, that's just how gaming is right now. You know, for the life of me, I don't realize why all of these developers, or not these developers, these publishers felt that 2020, 21, 22, that the revenue that they were generating was going to consistently stay the same. Because that's another reason why we're seeing a lot of these closures and a lot of these layoffs, because, you know, budgeted like
chasing the bag.
They were, yeah, literally, that's what they did. They chased the bag for 3 years, and people keep saying it's hindsight, but I always look, it's like, if you're a business owner, if you're a CEO of something, yes, it's nice to see all that money coming in. But if I'm that person and I see that money coming in, I know this isn't going to last. So why would I spin up other parts of the business, or why would I spend more money than I have to, knowing that this isn't going to last? I'm just going to say, hey, let's just marinate on what we're doing, consistently keep giving a great product around things that we know is safe until we get out of this, you know, situation where we know that it's going to be sustainable consistently. Then we still have the money that we garner from reap the rewards from the, you know, the unfortunate situation that the world went through. Then we still have that money in place. But the funny thing is, none of these companies have that money anymore. That money was spent. Like, all the money they made over 3 years of all these people coming back to video games was spent on projects that either A, failed, B, never came out, or C, is still in development. Think about that, Slobo. It's like, it's crazy. Like, if you think about Xbox, you know, we always talk about it. And this isn't the bash on Xbox, but we talk about Xbox a lot on this channel. Xbox made a lot of promises and a lot of headway 2019, 2020, when they purchased all these studios. The world fell apart. Now they're still paying. Listen, all the money that they would have garnered from the success that they gained from the pandemic, from people playing games. That money is spent now, because you're still making the games that you announced back in 2020 and they're not even out yet. Some games that were announced well before 2020 aren't out yet. We just got Hellblade 2. That's 2024. You think that it's just, a lot of stuff just kind of happened, and it's unfortunate. And like I said, I wish well to the people that really had Dawn, but I really, really wish that these companies would understand and just have, you know, people that didn't go to business school and have MBAs understand how financial literacy really works in the world more than these people. Because I feel like they look at a number on a piece of paper and they feel like that number is going to go up every year. I even feel that about corporations that I work for. I'm like, they want you to go 10% up every year, 20% up every year. At some point, you're going to crash. It's like, it's impossible to keep going up because you're always fighting year over year numbers. So at some point, my year over year, I'm not going to be able to achieve it. So maybe I'll go 10% year over year, 20% year over year. Maybe I'll have a great year where I'm 30% year over year. But guess what's going to happen that fourth year? 52% down, because you have to reset. And that's in every industry. And that's what these people aren't understanding.
That's big facts right there.
So
that's how this works. And it's in every business does this. Every industry does this, where all they care about is year over year growth. I've seen people when I worked in a different industry. I work in IT now, but when I worked in a different industry that was retail based, it was retail based. I saw the biggest earner one year get fired the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And she got fired the next year because her locations could not. She got like, I think the growth that she got, it was like triple digit growth from 1 year compared to the previous year. The next year, she'd maxed out any kind of potential additional growth in her region. They should just promoted her.
Yeah, that should have been it.
But instead, they compared her, she wasn't able to achieve that little 10%, and they fired her because like those were the rules. If you weren't able to outdo your previous year-over-year growth, if you weren't
Right.
able to provide the minimum, then but then like when you look at it with a brain, she was making more money than everyone else. So and
Right.
this is money that she had brought in, businesses that she had cultivated. And it's just, you would think anybody would have a brain and be like, we should retain her. This should be the exception to the rule. We want people to continue to grow, but it would be stupid to get rid of her. Nope.
Nope.
So it's the way it is, man. It's the way the way these corporations work. $1 billion corporations, by the way. That was a $1 billion corporation I'm talking about that did that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is. It's a shame, like everybody in the chat is saying, and the world's gonna get better. But the question is, are the people that are a part of the most important parts of the sector of the world, are they going to get better? Are we going to learn from these situations that we're talking about on this podcast now? Is the, like, for example, somebody in this chat or somebody that's going to listen to this podcast later, there's a good chance that you're going to have a successful journey in whatever avenue you decide to go in. Are you going to be the one that's going to look at the number as the number, or are you going to be looking at the number as something that you could kind of refine and, work to your advantage to allow your company or whatever you're doing to sustain itself over years versus months? And that's what I hope everybody kind of takes from the conversation that we're having right now, because it's not about next year, like how we talk about live service games. Live service games are built on what you're going to do month over month over the next 6 months to keep people engaged, and then it turns into a yearly prospect. Running a business and having a team that are dedicated to making, works of art that we see in video games, that is a process that takes years and years of time to cultivate. What are you going to do as a leader to make sure that team stays the same over the course of decades and not just 1 or 2 games? So we'll leave it at that. But Slow Mo, let's talk about PlayStation. Let's talk about PlayStation hardware. And the funny thing about this is real interesting because they came up with their financials. It looks pretty similar to what happens with Xbox when it comes to their earnings for the first quarter. Up in sales and revenue, up in their MAUs were through the roof. Hardware down 27%. Are we gonna crucify Sony like we crucify Xbox for being 32% down and PlayStation's down 27%? Slow Mo. Are we about to do the same thing that we do to Xbox because PlayStation's down 27%?
I think that would be a bit too simple, I would say.
It
to
would
just be like, because it's not taking into account everything. I'm not saying it's good that their hardware is down. That's not good at all, right?
Right.
But then they also don't have hardware down 3 quarters in a row.
That's true too.
And they also don't have some of the other issues that are going on too. Now I will say that, like, we know part of the reason why things look the way they look for PlayStation is due to the changes they made with Bungie, layoffs and whatnot. Everyone goes through that. Everyone does that right before they get into uh, um, addressing investors on the state of the business. They do some house cleaning. They kind of clean up, before you got someone, you about to have someone come over, and typically your house it's a little messy. It ain't exactly spotless. And then you clean up before they come over. They see, oh, you have a nice house. Yeah, if you would have saw it 2 hours ago, your opinion might be different. It just it happens. But at the same time, like when it comes to one, not as bad as numbers as what Xbox has had, but also not as bad for a longer period of time. Like, I think there are people who want to compare it to and say, oh, but no one's saying this about doom and gloom for Xbox. But it's just like, are you really looking at the full picture here? Their hardware has sold, as of right now, is ahead of PS4.
Mm-hmm.
The Xbox Series consoles are not ahead of the Xbox One, which was, as admittedly by Microsoft, a failed generation. People are upset that people are separating ABK. They're showing the Xbox division, Microsoft Gaming division with ABK, without ABK. Why are you separating them? Why is Microsoft separating them? So if you're not asking why they are separating them, why are you asking why other people are analyzing or discussing it separated when that's how it's being presented by Microsoft? We're getting that information from them. So, I think there's a lot of like people being upset about stuff that they really shouldn't really care about as a gamer, as far as I'm concerned. But also looking at it from just a green tinted glasses point of view, hardware sales being down, that's not good. You want to make sure that that's up, and maybe it's down because you haven't provided games that people are hyped for. Maybe it'll be up if you actually came out with a showcase, Sony.
Oh man, here we go.
yeah. Once again, where's the freaking showcase, Sony? Gender creates some hype, and people will buy your console. But whatever, right? No, if we see this become a trend where it starts going down again next quarter, yeah, let's have a talk. What something needs to change, something needs to happen to reverse the trend that we're going. But I don't think it's a big deal as of now. I think all three of the consoles are down compared year over year to the previous year. And we literally just had a conversation about how sometimes year over year, like well, not double digit down like this. That's a bit different, but still, we on the surface, it doesn't always mean what it looks like. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, man?
If we broke it down into the three different categories: PlayStation, Xbox, and Sony. PlayStation. Well, we'll start with Nintendo. Nintendo's down year over year due to the fact that I think that everybody's just ready for the next system to come out. I think the Switch has saturated the market fully at this point. Plus, they came out earlier this year and said that they actually acknowledged the existence of a new system,
which then officially tells people, why should I buy this current one when the next one's right around the corner?
Right. So I expect their numbers to be down due to that. Now we're just waiting for them to officially unveil and talk about what the next system is.
And when they do that, their numbers are going to drop even further because
further. You're going to
start marketing it.
Right. You're going to see massive declines at that point. When it comes to Xbox, twofold. And part of it is the same reason that PlayStation is in their scenario. The first part is Xbox been telling people for the last 3, 4, 5 years that they don't need an Xbox. That's part of it. You know, that conversation will never get old with me. I am always going to sit here and say, you talk about how you want to grow your services and you want to grow your monthly active users, but the only way you're going to do that is by having people in your ecosystem. And it's not like it's not like Sony or Nintendo are going to help you by putting Game Pass on their platform. You need to start talking about your own platform as a reason of why people need to come over to it. And until they do that, they're going to continually see year over year. Well, I won't say they won't continually see it year over year downfall, but they will never see the impact that they can truly have when it comes to their first party if they don't stop doing that. The second thing now, and the other thing now I'll go to PlayStation because one of the things is shared. PlayStation, absolutely what you just said. Where's the showcase? Your situation is just like Xboxes. Like at least Xbox got the games to show, but their problem is they're telling people you don't need an Xbox. You don't even have the games to really show to people, and but you got the fanfare that everybody knows that you're living off the fact that hey, we're PlayStation. People are going to buy a PlayStation due to the fact that they love PlayStation, and for the most part, that's what kind of sets you straight for like the last year and a half. Other than, games like Spider-Man and God of War Ragnarok that came out. You're living off of the past at this point. Right now, you're starting to see people not caring about that because guess what? 90% of your 70 to 90%, well, 70 to 80% of your player base, for the most part, probably only cares about third party. And we saw that over the course of June, and we're going to see it when it comes to July and August, that hardware sales are going to go up due to the fact that you got third party games coming to the platform that's only exclusive to the newer platforms like NCAA football. So the more and more we see that, it's not because Sony and Microsoft made that pitch. It's because third party finally made the decision to move over. So that's the main reason I think Sony in their situation is holding behind, because they're waiting for third party to move forward where they should be concentrating on their first party. Because I think everybody's going to get a boost in 2025. I don't expect to see Xboxes down year over year. You're going to see positive growth from them next year because you're going to see games developers finally saying that, hey, we're only going to be next gen. And that's going to give a lot of those people a reason to move over. PlayStation only has 50 something million, 60 something million consoles out there. Yeah, they're on pace to pass people. Well, they're already pacing faster than PS4, but you got to remember PS4 did 120 million consoles. So we're still 60 to 70 million consoles behind what they did on that. So that just lets you know how many people are still sitting there playing games like Call of Duty, Madden, Among Us, Fortnite on their old console, because guess what? They don't have no reason to move over. Bungie, this time, what was it? When Bungie did Destiny, by year 3, they had already dropped last gen. Look at them now. They're still supporting last gen. And we're 4 years, well, this is actually 6 years in for Destiny 2. So why would a person stop playing Destiny 2 on their PS4 or their Xbox One, where Bungie is basically telling them you don't have to?
I'm really interested in seeing the hardware sales numbers for, I guess it would be July. When did college football come out?
July.
It was July. I really want to see the hardware numbers for that because I wonder if it was a major boost there, because that game sold a lot. Even the highest edition sold like
2.2 million. 2.2 million. Yep, 2.2 million.
Not available on last gen consoles. So that kind of information is definitely would be interesting in seeing how those numbers moved, because I think if a lot of these big time games that are like annual releases or games that like Fortnite, for example, like what if Epic decided that the next season of Fortnite isn't going to be supported on last gen? Like, they wouldn't do that, but what if they did that, right? You would see a lot of people
Time to go.
going to go, buy a console or,
A PC or
a
whatever.
PC or whatever, finding whatever, avenue that fits how they choose to play games best. They would be doing those things in order to make sure they can play that game. We'll see what happens, but yeah, definitely when you got like for PlayStation, 50% of your platform is still on PS4. You need to provide a reason to get them to come and get a PS5, and the games that they have put that have been PS5 only, that has convinced half of your player base to move over, but the other half are like, nah, we're good. And yeah, they could be people who are playing, 2K, which is also on last gen, Madden. There could be people who are playing Fortnite and Call of Duty, and those games need to let go of last gen as well.
They sure do.
Because, the longer you hold on to that, the more these games can't really evolve their game designs, because the hardware isn't capable of really doing more than what we see from games today. And so those games can't really be unshackled and do better when they're still having to be ran on, and designed around 11-year-old hardware.
Sure.
So there's a whole lot of things that I would love for them to just move on from. I would have been fine with them moving on 2 years after the new generation started, so like 2022. But here we are, and they're still being supported, and it's almost kind of like the chicken and the egg scenario, because it's, if so many people weren't still playing on those old consoles, then the publishers wouldn't still put the games on them. But the reason why they're still playing them is because you keep putting your games on them. So it's just, something's got to give, and maybe it's these systems, like, someone's PS4 Pro finally biting the dust, or someone's VCR Xbox One just won't turn on no more. Now they gotta go get a whole new thing.
Yeah, which has happened. The funny thing is, a lot of it can be contribute. It can be contribute to the fact that it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Some of these companies, when it comes to making money, they understand that the majority, they hold the player base in their hand when it comes to like these bigger games. So like Activision knows
the very first company to go increase the price of the standard full price game was who?
2K.
Take-Two.
With NBA 2K was the first game.
Because they knew, we can do that.
We sure can do that. Next gen game, $70. Let's go.
Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
And you know what the funny thing is? And I remember during that conversation where everybody was complaining about it, and I was like, y'all do realize that that's nothing. Most people spend $100 on that game. So them raising the base price by $10 ain't going to
nothing.
That's nothing. They're basically just saying the lower.
Well, it means nothing to the 2K community, but to the overall gaming community, it was a signal that
that it was over.
We can do this too. We can do this too. Yeah.
So it's when people complain about these things, I'm sitting there like, but they know that you're not going to do anything about it. So you're not going to boycott your favorite game. You're going to buy it. So it is what it is. But speaking about PlayStation, we got a game coming out next month. I believe it's September. Is it September 12th or 14th? For God of War Ragnarok.
14. I thought I saw the 14th. Yeah, I think so. Let me double check it.
Yeah, so the PC specs, they made me laugh when I looked at them too, because I get a chance to see these PC specs from the other side of the aisle versus the side of the aisle I was on 3-4 months ago, and I laughed when I looked at them. I was like, so God of War PC specs came out, and I am gonna actually put those.
We're
on.
both wrong. It's the 19th
Oh
of
shoot, yeah,
September.
we're terribly wrong. Then Jesus Christ. I am gonna put the
So
stuff
so
in the
I got
stream.
some questions about this
Yeah,
this. I think these PC specs are fine. This is
they are
very
fine.
reasonable for the most part. It's only asking for 16 gigs of RAM, ultra 4K 60, ultra settings, max settings. You can do that with a 4070 Ti, which is like a $600 GPU, or a 7900 XT, which is $650, $700. I think you could probably get it on sale for $600 or right around this time. CPU is an Intel i5 11600K. I mean, that's a very, very reasonable. That I think that CPU probably runs you like $200 right now.
Yeah, at this point.
A Ryzen 7 3700X is not, top of the line at all. Like, these are very reasonable specs to get ultra 4K 60, which not surprising considering Jetpack Interactive is the one that's doing it. I've been saying that Sony needs to go ahead and acquire them to take some of the pressure off of Nixus on doing so many PC ports, because Jetpack Interactive has done an excellent job with the work that they've been provided. They did the first God of War port, which was excellent, one of the best ones that they ported over to PC. This one, I'm not saying it already is that, but you look at these PC specs, and typically what we've all on the PC platform been able to do is look at the PC specs and go, oh, yeah, this is going to be an issue. This is going to be this is going to be a problem, because you see the specs. If it's got misbalance all over the place, if it's got certain GPUs or CPUs that don't, like you're saying, it takes more performance to reach something with like a weaker CPU, or they call in a RTX GPU, a GTX GPU. Like, oh boy, you definitely didn't pay attention when you did this. Or, when you see stuff that just like it's asking for a 4090 to do ultra, and it's just like back when the 4090 had just came out, it's like, bruh, what basically you're just telling me this game is unoptimized, is what you're saying. But this looks good. It looks like it's going to be pretty optimized. My only concern, or my only question is, why is it taking nearly 200 gigabytes of
Man,
storage?
that's why I
Like, what the
laughed,
heck?
bro.
I'm
That's
just like,
exactly what I said. I was like,
I don't
200
understand.
gigs.
That's either around the same size, or that's more than what Call of Duty is. And Call of Duty, with like a campaign, the multiplayer, Warzone, all this, like, huh? Like, why
200 gigs, bro.
200 gigs?
That texture quality through the roof, bro.
Yeah, what is it? Is it a movie in here? Is it uninstalling a movie? Is there a movie for us to watch? Look, I know it's going to be God of War Ragnarok, the actual game, plus the DLC, the horror, not horror mode, the roguelike DLC that was really good, and it's story driven, so there's like dialogue in there and all that stuff. So I get it, right? But just 200 gig? Is it 200 gigs on place? I don't think it is.
It's not. It's not.
So I haven't double checked, but I'm fairly certain it's not 200 gigs on PlayStation.
I need to go. I definitely want to kind of check that and see though, but I don't think it is, because it's impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but yeah, that's the first thing I said when I saw it. I was like, first of all, I was like looking before, and I was like, okay, so where on this scale was I before I upgraded? And I was like, oh, so high settings is basically where they were saying I was going to be stuck at. 1440p, 60 frames per second, high settings, which is fine. And then I was like, I scrolled down, I said, okay, 16 gigs of RAM. Definitely wasn't going to be able to do that on my graphics card. Now, is that VRAM or is that just system RAM?
No, that's system RAM, that's storage.
So that's system RAM. Oh, I got 32 gigs of system RAM.
Yeah.
Of system RAM.
Now, I would say this, though. If you look at where it says performance, 4K 60 performance with high settings, let's just take the NVIDIA GPU, for example. It has a RTX 3080 Ti. I used to have that one.
That's more
a
VRAM driven, it looks like.
Yeah, so it's a 12 gigabyte card. The
Yep.
4070 Ti is also a 12 gigabyte card. So, but the one difference between, because like they're comparable. If you did like, if you look up a YouTube video, say 3080 Ti versus 4070 Ti, you will probably find that both of them are comparable in performance. That like they're not like it may be depending on the game when they do the benchmarks, it may be off by like maybe 5 at the most, like 10 frames, but nothing dramatic. So they're
Right.
basically very close in performance. But why is the 4070 Ti for ultra, but the 3080 Ti for performance? Is likely due to the fact that NVIDIA has sectioned off the their frame generation for the 4000 series, and in 3000 series and older don't have access to that. And so that's probably why they have that set for ultra, because you could always just turn on frame generation and make sure that you get ultra settings and that 4K 60. And it sees it, I think it says native resolution, no upscaling employed. So this is all, none of this is with DLSS on or anything like that. So this is just getting
the base 4K,
the
base
base
4K
before
60 and ultra, yeah.
right. So it's even, you don't even need to have a 3080 Ti or a 4070 Ti. I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, you could have a 3070 and you could probably turn on DLSS and get close, get what you're getting on that performance bracket. Which all the time with these PC specs, it's never taking it take completely for face value. It's more of a suggestion, because everyone has a different build, a different configuration, right? So like you could have the 3070, but you could also have like a much more powerful CPU than they have listed there, and that will kind of change some things. You could have
Change
more
the
RAM.
math.
Yeah, like you got more RAM than you should have more than 16 gigs of RAM listed in 2024. You should be at minimum 32 gigs, I would say. So yeah, it's more of a suggestion. But whenever you see PC specs that are reasonable like this, game's gonna be pretty easy to run, I think.
Oh yeah. This game is, yeah. I'm really wondering if I'm more thinking on the lines of how high the FPS counter is going to get with me and your graphics card than anything else at this point. Because like you said, we don't even have, it's like for this game, you don't even have to. Now, granted, maybe if you want to hit your maximum refresh rate on your monitor, like mine's is 144. So if I wanted to hit my maximum refresh rate, I would probably, with a 4090, still have to turn on frame generation to hit it. Might have to. I don't know. Maybe not. Honestly, that's kind of when I'm more interested. That's what I'm kind of interested, because I'm really, especially yours, because you got a 4080. So I'm just trying to figure out what that delta is between frame generation on and off at 4K 60 if you want to hit 120. Because I mean, hitting double the frame rate is a massive toll.
I for this game, and I'm just basing it off of what Jetpack Interactive has done in the past, because it was very easy to run the first God of War with like 4K and triple digit frame rates, with like the top of the line hardware. I don't think it would be unreasonable. Visually, Ragnarok looks better than God of War, on PlayStation. Yeah. So I'm thinking, and I don't think this will have ray tracing. I don't know. Did God of War Ragnarok on PlayStation have like ray tracing?
No.
No. Like Walmart ray tracing, because it's not like real ray tracing.
Yeah, no, it wasn't real. No, it didn't have any ray tracing.
Okay, so then more than likely it won't be there on this game.
I would think that would be in the stat. Yeah. I think that would be in the overall calculation of the performance if it was.
Yeah, see, right. They would have that on the PC spec chart, that this is what you can expect with ray tracing and without it. What I've noticed is the game, most of the games that have ray tracing on PlayStation also have ray tracing on PC, but it's better. And if it didn't have ray tracing on PlayStation, then it doesn't have ray tracing on PC, which is more than likely just to kind of like help make sure the game gets out within a reasonable time period, but
Right.
also maybe to kind of bring a little bit of parity there between the console, because I mean, I know that there are people who are like, they didn't do it on purpose, but Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, that file that was in there to kind of limit the storage speeds to NVMe 3.0 generation storage speeds instead of 4.0, which would have made it, actually load faster than the PlayStation 5. It just, you see things like that, and other people was like, oh, but that doesn't mean it was done on purpose. I'm like, yeah, but they still haven't taken it out after it was brought to everyone's attention, especially Nix's attention, that this one file here is limiting the speed to 3.0, and it is noticeable in the game that it's not loading as fast or seamless as it could, and you still kept it in there after people brought it up. That tells me it was there on purpose.
Right.
So, it is what it is. But when you have those kind of things happening, it kind of makes me wonder where it's just like, hey, do we want to do ray tracing for this game? Did we do ray tracing for the PlayStation, for the PS5 game? No, then we ain't doing ray tracing for this one. Just is what it is.
So, Sajid has said it's 95 gigs. I guess that's with the new update. Because I looked it up myself. It said in December it was 84 gigs on PlayStation 5. And then I guess when they released it, that was right before the DLC came out. So the DLC added another 10 to 11 gigs.
So is it a typo?
Dog.
It's like, why do you need 100 more gigs?
It's 100 more gigs, bro.
Why?
That's a lot of typos, though, man. Good God, that's a lot.
Yeah, all across the board.
I'm trying to figure out, like, why. I mean, listen, the only thing about 190 gigs that really excites me, is the fact that I'm just thinking the texture quality on just little things in the world is going to be so exquisite that your eyes are going to pop when you watch them. It's like, wow, that looks really good. So, because we all do know texture quality will drag, will especially if you turn it up. But that also can't be it either, because low setting, yeah, that can't be it. It can't be texture quality, because how the heck you gonna get high textures on low settings and still have the same storage rate? Maybe because the game is, so basically they're saying no matter what the size, no matter what hardware
I know this is a long shot, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Go ahead.
They got a movie in there just for us PC gamers. They got a movie in there. We're gonna have a full God of War movie. It's gonna lead us into the next chapter of Kratos' journey. It's PC exclusive. That's why there's 100 more gigs there.
What happens if they actually took all like the in-game assets and the in-game cutscenes and literally just made the cutscenes like you could watch it from beginning to end without playing the game?
I don't think they would do that.
I'm just saying, but it's like they made that in the game. Like, hey, you can actually enjoy the story without actually playing the game, because there's a lot of people out here that believe watching somebody play the game is like playing the game themselves, and I'm like, I don't know if that's true.
Ooh, I like Ramon's suggestion. It's going to recap all the games leading up to 2018 and Ragnarok. Imagine that, right? Imagine they do like a
Mass Effect thing where they talk about,
but it's like fully like cinematic, like animated cinematics. Giving you the Cliff Notes version of Kratos' journey from God of War 1, 2, 3, even the whatever that God of War game that was on Ascension, and then 2018, and here we go. We're giving all these great ideas that we know ain't gonna happen, but they're just being wasteful with your storage. That's what it is, man. They just like, we know you don't want to have all the, to have to uninstall 5 games to install this one. We don't care. So, because like let me double check how much storage I got right now.
What on
Let's see what I
your
got
PC?
free. Yeah,
Oh,
I got 103 gigs free right now.
Is that your
So
C drive or is that your actual install drive?
That's my actual games drive. I don't install no games on my C drive.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
What kind
who
of
does that? So my game, I have 2 games drive. One has 403 free. The other one has 392. They're both 1 terabytes.
So you're good. You're good.
I got close to 700 gigs free. But that's still a lot, bro. I was like, 1,000
I have
gigs.
1 games drive that's a 2 terabyte drive, and I got 103 gigs free.
Man.
I got the uninstalls. I know.
I have to uninstall Call of Duty.
1 game. No, I'm good. Where I might uninstall because I ain't played it in forever. Ain't nobody seen me trying to play it with me. Is Halo
Destiny?
Infinite.
Oh, Halo Infinite? Oh, you know what?
Yeah, I will uninstall Destiny and delete my characters as soon as I'm done with Final Shape.
Oh,
that's going to
yeah.
happen.
I'm with you on that.
But I'm not playing that yet. Ow.
But that's true. Halo Infinite. How much does Halo Infinite?
I think it's like 95 gigs or something like that. It's somewhere in that range. It's definitely a lot. And if y'all ain't playing no more Halo Infinite, I can let that go because I'm not playing it right now. That would get me over.
I'm looking at I'm looking at my whole hard drive. Call of Duty's number 1 at 143 gigs. Hey, this 50 gigs more than Call of Duty.
It doesn't make. I think it's gotta be a typo. It's gotta be a typo, man. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, even Battlefield 2042 is 89.3. And then Halo Infinite is 105.
Yeah, Halo definitely about to get that boot. But
that's great, bro. That's crazy. That I was thinking about when you said Call of Duty, and I was like, it's no way, because Call of Duty on console is close to 200 gigs. So it's a little bit more streamlined on PC. But the fact that this 50 gigs more on PC is crazy. That's nuts, bro. I mean, Fortnite's not even close. I think Fortnite's like 23 gigs or 40 gigs at most or something like that.
Yeah.
That's funny. But I don't know, man. It comes out September 9th. I'm gonna buy it because I just want to see what that game's gonna feel like, because the thing about God of War is very responsive on PS5. It's gonna be so great on PC, how it's gonna feel, especially if you can get a PC that can get it. If you got a PC that can get it above 100 frames per second with frame generation and stuff, it's gonna feel great. It's gonna feel great.
Cygnus in the chat is asking the storage on Cyberpunk, which I still have installed, but I'm looking at Steam. I don't know where you
in Steam, it's under dang, that's
properties.
True. Yeah, let me look at my Steam.
It's 84 gigs.
Wow, it's 100 gigs more than that. That's funny. No sense, man. But that's funny because that game has to at least store the texture quality for path tracing.
Yep.
So it has. We know that game has like some otherworldly ways of like showcasing itself, and it's still under 100 gigs. That's wild. Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, you're right, Soma. It might be a typo. It might only be 90 gigs. They just added a 1 in front of it by accident.
Yeah. I bet if you go, matter of fact, I'm gonna go to.
Is it on Steam?
Yeah, because I'm about to say, check Steam and see what the basic requirements for God of War is, and see if they have a storage SSD that's at like a.
I'm on here. God of War Ragnarok PC.
Damn, it's there too.
Oh, it sure does. It says 190 gigs here.
So
Holy
that's not a
crap.
typo.
It's
It's
not
not a
typo.
typo.
They just crazy.
Yo, something. What is in here? Something else is here. Something else is. It's got to be a movie. I'm telling you, it's got to be a movie. There's got to be a hidden game in there somewhere. It's like a hidden God of War 3 game. They poured it over or something. Something's not right. It's just not right.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Hold on. Okay. I think I found out what it is. So when you pre-order God of War, they give you the deluxe edition of the game. The deluxe
Okay.
edition comes with the base game, comes with the digital deluxe upgrade, which whoever knows is what that is. That's probably the DLC and everything. Comes with the soundtrack and comes with a digital art book.
But
That
they never put the soundtrack in the install of that's always a separate install.
Is it always a separate install?
Yeah, it's never the actual part of the game there.
I'm
Yeah, and a
lost then. I
soundtrack
couldn't tell you.
wouldn't be that big. Ain't no soundtrack like.
Well, the art, if they do what you said, that art book could be a digital art book and it could be like all animated.
I wish it was. But I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing else other than that 90 gigs that 190 gigs that I'm seeing is the fact that and we already knew this was going to be the case due to like Helldivers and Ghost of Tsushima. At the very bottom right-hand corner, it says accounts for PlayStation Network required. Yeah, it's a wrap, y'all. Sony want to make sure that they count you as a consumer playing their product.
Yeah. They said that after the whole Helldivers
thing. Oh yeah. We knew.
Yeah, they said we're gonna let it rock on this one, but no more after this.
Mm-hmm. We counting you as a PlayStation gamer.
Yeah. Initially they said, oh, if it's a game that has multiplayer, it's going to have it. And then after what game came out around that time period? Ghost of Tsushima. After Ghost of Tsushima, they were just like, nah, it's all of them, bro.
All of them. Yep. All of them. All of them.
It's all of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we got some slow-mo. We're already on the DPS channel, so we're on the last subject, and we don't have to play the game of song and dance and switch over, which is great. I feel great, don't you?
I feel fantastic.
Oh my God, you're terrible. You're supposed to go along with that.
I did. I said I feel fantastic.
You said you're supposed to be like Tony the Tiger. I feel great.
Yeah, I ain't doing that. You already know.
say it with me, slow-mo. We're great. Say it, slow-mo.
No.
Say it. We're not going to move on until you say it.
Well, then we're going to be here all night because I ain't saying it.
Slow-mo. Come on. We're great. Say it.
I'm not great because you keep trying to force this.
I'm just saying. We listen, we're great we're great dual tag team hosts. You're great for being the amazing person that you are. And we're great that we're on the DPS podcast channel. So tell us that you're great and tell everybody to hit the like button and sub to the channel because they're great.
Everybody hit the like button and sub to the channel.
Because you're
Please
great.
do that so that Forte can move on.
All right, let's move on. Shout out to Xbox for delaying Avowed, which we knew one game was going to get delayed out of this year. We just didn't know what it was. We didn't talk
about this last week.
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay.
No,
all right, let's go.
We didn't. Nope, we didn't talk about it. So Avowed delayed until 2025. If I remember correctly, I was under the impression that there was going to be a game that was going to get delayed. Didn't know what it was going to be, but in general, I have a couple of other things. It kind of throws. Okay, so this is a thing that happened. I think we mentioned Avowed last week, but not PlayStation. Xbox came out and said why they delayed it. And I was completely wrong because I wish they would have just said what I said, because I think we talked about it, said they delayed it because
Xbox being wrong in their messaging once again?
yep, because
Shocker?
we did talk about it, and the reason we said that they're probably doing it, they got Call of Duty coming in October, they got Stalker 2 releasing in November, and they want to, they're not going to really move and mess with their third party when it comes to the game that's coming out, and they can't move Call of Duty. Call of Duty's always coming in October and November. So the window's too full. They're going to move, Avowed out of the year because it's going to give them a chance to like get a little breathing room, and it's going to probably come out in February.
I said, I don't think that's the real problem. No. I think the real problem is that the game ain't ready.
No, I think that's what I said. It's part of the reason. If it's not because it's not ready, it's because they wanted to move it to get away from other games. But this is what they said. But this is what they said, Slow-Mo. They came out and told people on Twitter, the official Xbox account, came out and told people on Twitter, the reason they delayed it is so they can respect people's backlog. Slow-Mo. So this is the whole reason. I just remembered it. So this is why this is back up on the counter. I wish they would have said anything else other than that. Like, I'm sitting there like, yo, you literally just came out and said the reason you delay Avowed is to respect people's backlog? What backlog? What backlog, bro? We talk about now what, third-party backlogs? Because you surely ain't talking about first-party backlogs. What backlog are we talking about, bro? I couldn't believe, like, I had to go look it up. Shout out to Porter Rock and them. I was listening to them and I said, there's no way Xbox said this. And then somebody said, yeah, and he sent me the link. And I was like, no freaking way, bro. They literally said this. They said the reason we are delaying Avowed is so we can respect your backlog. I'm like, yo, come on now, bro. Slow-Mo, tell me, dog. Tell me where are we in like another dimension? Where are we, bro? What's going on here?
That is great. That is great.
What kind of Slow-Mo? For real, I need you to tell me what
they are listening to too many people who just do podcasts. They give an explanation, and I think whoever wrote that up started watching your more common Xbox podcast, and they were just like, "What are they talking about?" Oh, hey, these guys seem to be under the impression that it's just they're just trying to space these games out. That the game just doesn't need a delay. When have they cared about that? Think about this for a second. When have they cared about our backlog? When have they cared about not giving their game space and time? They launched what was it? Forza Horizon 5.
Oh, yeah.
Saw all the success that Forza was doing. Then went on ahead and launched Halo Infinite.
The multiplayer.
Less than a month later. Yeah. They do not care about your backlog. They do not even care about your front log, which you're currently playing right now. They do not care. So miss me with that BS. That's not them. The game ain't ready. Just say the game ain't ready, which is fine. Because I'm always of the mind that, like, look, you don't release a game that needs work. Right. Don't release incomplete games. Now, bear in mind, after that delay, it better be ready. Like, don't delay the game and then it actually ended up needing more time. Redfall, Starfield, the list goes on. But what are we doing?
Man, I'm trying to tell you, I couldn't help myself. I was sitting there just on my PC. It was Monday. So, a lot of stupid stuff comes out on Monday, and I'm always sitting there laughing because, Porter Rock always entertains me at night because it's, 60 frames don't lag. Check them out. They're always a great show.
Shout out to Puerto Rico.
Shout out to Porter Rock. I'm just listening to him just talking. He was like, I don't even know what to say. Like this, I was in such disbelief. I was like, "There's no way this is happening." I was like, "Porter Rock, you need to be." I said, "You ashamed of yourself, dog. I understand you don't like Xbox sometimes, but there's no reason to like say that they said something like this." And then it comes to find out that they did, and I'm like, "Yo, for real? What backlog? For real? It's that is insane." Like you said, I'd rather you just come out and just say the game's not ready. I understand that the game's not ready, or at least come out and say, due to the fact that we got Call of Duty and we have our third party partner in Stalker coming out, it's going to be too congested. And I feel like that is a better excuse than literally saying you care about our backlog.
Well, I mean, even that's not really true. Again, as I said, like they don't mind releasing their games stacked all on top of
Well,
each
I know
other.
they don't, but I'm just saying I would feel better if they said
if you
that.
are, that wouldn't really be like all that true, because if you really think about it, right? If you really think about it, if that is the case, then how come Indiana Jones don't have a release date yet?
Well, that's a whole nother situation.
Yeah, like how Indiana Jones ain't got a release date. None of the other, like your games are getting delayed. Like what are we doing? So it's not that we're all stacked. Indiana Jones could get delayed too. So yeah, I mean, what are we talking about?
That's true. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
They should have just said, hey, look, game needs more time, and that would have been understandable considering a lot of people looked at what Avowed showed in like the developer direct, and they said, nah, man, that looks a little janky. Animations don't look like quite there yet. That looks a little problematic. I don't know if you guys are ready for prime time yet, which is, sure, it's a AA game, and we saw people, making those excuses. Well, it's just, Avowed has never, had, amazing animations, and I'm just like, yeah, but they were also at the time independent, AA developer. They're now owned by one of the richest corporations in the world. Shouldn't you be giving them budgets to kind of like not be on the shoestring? Oh, we weren't able to afford to do XYZ kind of tip. So that's clearly not really the case. I just think that, yeah, the game needs more time, and everyone recognized that, except for, certain people. And now the narrative is being, hey, yeah, we respect your backlog. I mean, look, a backlog is always going to be there. Always. So whether your game comes out or not, when it does, when you do finally come out with a release date, which they did come out with one, right? Did they say? Yeah. So you think I'm not gonna have a backlog and the time period that you dropped the game, dropping the game for? I'm gonna have a backlog then too. I'm gonna have a backlog forever because I play a lot of games. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you sit there and think about it. So,
Cygnus in the chat said, imagine if they delay Indiana Jones. Which, look, I would not be surprised if Indy gets delayed. But that would be hilarious because here we are. You you're gonna delay Indy into the same time period as Avowed, creating the same situation that you said you were trying to avoid before. Is that what we're doing? I don't know. Just seems funny to me.
It is. It's hilarious, bro. Seriously. I mean, for the Dave Blade says King David voice. Who did that for you? Phil Spencer did that for you to make sure you got enough money to buy all his games. That's oh shoot, man! I don't know, man. It's just funny when you see Xbox talking about respecting backlogs, and I'm like, yo, y'all need to be releasing as many games as possible. Get these games out the door. Make people remember that you're a game publisher on top of a console holder too. But yeah, that
Yeah, and they talked about having a first party game available per quarter, right?
hmm
And which is they still haven't really hit that yet.
not
And I
yet.
saw some people trying to make the insinuation that they have been doing that, but they're adding games in there like Power World, and I'm like, Power World is not a first party game. Like even the second party stuff like Aria History Untold, which I heard is might be a little disastrous when it comes to um might be a bit of a disaster there when it comes to how that's playing out. That's also not a first party game. It's a second party game. So it's just like I just need people to stop making excuses about stuff. That's all. That's all I
Um,
want.
I'm with you on that. Just tell me how it is and stop lying to my face. Like Ramon just said, he was like, "Listen, you can delay a game; it's perfectly fine. Insulting my intelligence with that excuse was not." Oh yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's real crazy. Uh, Slomo, it's 11:01, man. Do you got anything that you want to bring up, or any other topics you want to bring to the table,
Player
sir?
Player says Aura is first party, is published by Microsoft. Player Player's second party games are also published by a platform.
Yeah,
What makes it second party is that it's not the developer that's making the game is not owned by that platform as well. Just because they own the IP means nothing.
yeah,
Until Dawn, as we mentioned earlier in the podcast, is a IP that's owned by Sony, by PlayStation, but the developer Supermassive Games was never owned by PlayStation. Therefore, it's a second party game. The way that works is first party games are studios that are owned by the platform, and the game is published by the platform. Second party games are games that are published by a platform, but the studio is not owned by that platform. So like when Insomniac came out with Spider-Man 2018, that was a second party game when it came out because they didn't own Insomniac at that time. Housemark with Returnal, they didn't own Housemark when they dropped Returnal. Therefore, it's a second party game. And
yeah.
of course,
Massive
third party is published by a third party and released,
by
developed by a
by
third
third
party.
party.
So that's how that works, man.
Yeah, you saw it a lot during the seventh gen with PS3 and PS and 360, where games like Mass Effect were published. I mean, published by Microsoft Studios, but Mass Effect was second party because they didn't own BioWare, which is probably still one of the worst mistakes they've ever made in
Hmm.
to let EA swoop that up after because they could have had 3 gems on their hand, but it
Yeah,
is. Same thing with Dragon Age. I think by that time Dragon Age was published by EA at that point though, right? Because they were owned by
yeah,
EA.
yeah. The first Dragon Age game, 95% of the development happened as an independent developer, but that last all EA did was slap their name on it,
Their logo,
and
yeah.
then tell them to take chunks of the game out to turn into DLC.
It's a DLC. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
which is
Which turns into like Dragon Age Awakening and stuff like that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now that you said, I remember all that. I was like, yep. But yeah, he's right. That's how that all works out, and kind of crazy. But what else you want to bring up, Slomo? You got anything else? We kind of got through everything in a timely manner. Anything else you want to bring to the conversation?
Nah, man, we can go shut it down at a normal time period for once. I
Well,
haven't had dinner yet, so I'm ready to
I'm about
eat.
to go eat too. So, guys, really appreciate you guys. starting next week, we're gonna have all the new stuff in place. Me and Slomo are gonna go over that stuff over the weekend and stuff. We're gonna make sure that everything's tight for you guys. So be ready for that to be on. Well, I was going to say on his channel, but we are officially on the DPS channel going forward. No having to merge back and forth and everything. So super happy to be able to do this and keep it in the one place. And make sure you tell your friends or anybody that likes gaming topics or gaming podcasts that share out the links to where we are, and we really appreciate that. But with that being said, we will still read our channel members from the previous channel because those people still at this point are supporting us. So Slomo, if you want, you can get yours ready while I get ready to read off the ones from my
I mean, I wasn't ready, but I am ready now.
Well, I'm ready. So
okay, I got it.
All right, go ahead.
Shout out to legendary Yobi, Stardust Acero, J387, K Asante, Neil S, your boy Roy, Corey Hale, Donnell Brown, Enrique, Hargi Shani, Ramon Terrell, Gaming Forte, and that guy Smitty. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah,
and thank you for supporting the channel.
Appreciate you guys. Corey Hill, MASH, Basement Radio Arcade Broadcast, Brap, your boy Roy, Daniel Brown, Ramon Terrell, Hargi Shani, and the homie Slomo Backslap. So going past this one, all of you guys that we read off today will be officially locked in for the people that will just be, have a special tribute for you guys running in the background of the show at all times. So we won't be going back reading all of the people again because it's going to be a new channel. We'll start doing that again once we hit
new channel.
You know what I mean? Not the new channel, but we'll start reading those again once we get crowdfunding on this channel and people start doing on this channel, and we're going to support
crowdfunding.
That's what it's called, crowdfunding. They call it crowdfunding.
You mean just members? I guess
that's what members are called, crowdfunding. I don't know why they call it that. That's what it's under.
That's fine. Go ahead, continue. I'm just interrupting you for no reason.
I know that. Yeah, you just like doing
crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding. Talking about crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, the thing I love, the thing that I go and bust my butt for every day.
Okay. We can just.
All right, guys, we will see you guys next week on episode 192. Hopefully we got a lot more stuff, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Like I said, please hit the like button, share with all your friends on social media and everything, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.